Newton's three laws of motion. Newton's first law of motion states that objects will remain at rest or move with a constant velocity unless they're acted upon by resultant force. What this means is if it was already stationary, it's going to stay stationary, or if this object was already moving, then it's going to continue moving in the same exact way unless other forces act on it and stop it from moving just like it was. So if you imagine if you kick a football along some grass, it's not going to keep on going forever because there's forces acting which stop it from going on forever, like friction. But if you were to kick a football in space where there are no air particles and therefore no friction, that ball would technically, theoretically go on forever. And that's because of Newton's first law. Now, Newton's second law states that the acceleration of an object is proportional to the force acting on it, and therefore inversely proportional to the mass of the object. This basically means that the bigger the resultant force, the larger the acceleration. And if we have two objects, one with a smaller mass, one with a bigger mass, and we apply the same force onto these, the object with the bigger mass is going to have a smaller acceleration, and the object of the smaller mass is going to have a greater acceleration. And a lot of the time we express Newton's second law as the equation F equals m times a, where F is force, m is mass, and a is acceleration. And Newton's third law states that every action has an equal but opposite reaction. And this basically means that if there is a force being applied onto something, an equal but opposite force is applied back onto the other thing. And that may sound a little bit confusing, but imagine if I put this pillow on my head over here. This pillow is exerting a force onto my head, and my head is exerting a force back onto the pillow, which keeps it still. The things I do for you guys. So remember, when you're drawing a free body force diagram, if there is something which has a force acting down, which is the weight, we need to also draw a reaction force which is equal in size but in the opposite direction to the weight. And that's Newton's three laws.